Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to one of our last lessons of Unit 7, The American Revolution. You need your mentor text, pencil, and a highlighter, and let's get started. So I want you to turn to pages 22 and 23. I want you to circle difficult words or unfamiliar words, and I also want you to look for the word impetuous, spectral, and defiance. All right. So on the night of April 18th, 1775, British soldiers planned to march to Concord, Massachusetts to arrest Patriot leaders and seize the Patriots' store of weapons. Having received warning of the British attack, Paul Revere waited for a signal to tell him whether the British would travel by land or by sea so he could alert the Patriots. All right. Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. All right, it's a poem. It's a great poem. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere on the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friend, if the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light. 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm for the country folk to be up and to arm. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side, now gazed at the landscape far and near, then impetuous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the Old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer, and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. You know the rest in the books you have read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere. Okay. So on page 22, I circled impetuous. If you haven't, make sure that you do. Impetuous means acting quickly without careful thought. Impulsive. So then impetuous, stamp the earth. He's impulsive. He just does it, didn't think about it. And then here's a statue that you might see if you were to, I don't know where this one is at. But Paul Revere, nice hat he's got on there. On page 23, spectral. Ghostly, it means ghostly. Anybody know what you think that is? It's the North Church. Page 23. Defiance, state of confronting, resisting, or challenging something. And there's a picture of what he might have looked like on his ride. Okay, so our learning goals today are: I can analyze how an author's imagery contributes to the mood and tone of a poem. I can recognize characteristics of multimodal or digital texts. I don't know about you, when I was reading it, I could feel like I was there, or I could see visually in my mind what it looked like on that night. So mood and tone. Remember, mood is how the poem makes the reader feel. So I don't know about how you felt, but examples of mood: tense, cheerful, scared. I was like on edge, like, ooh, excited almost. The tone is the poet's attitude about the topic. So it could be eager, serious, humorous. Writers create mood and tone through word choice, descriptions and imagery, setting, and point of view. So, listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. Longfellow addresses us, the readers. He refers to us as children and urges us to listen to this story of Paul Revere. So tone, first stanza, eager. He's eager to tell us. I underlined, meanwhile, impatient to mountain ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride. So lines 15 and 16 helps me to imagine Revere pacing back and forth. He's dressed and ready to go. That's what I envisioned. And then I underlined now and now. It's repeated in these lines to show that he's impatient. Like, now he patted his horse aside. Now he gazed. When is this going to happen? And then impetuous, stamp the earth, eager, search. These descriptions of behavior show that he's anxious. He's ready to go. So remember, impetuous is impatient. Okay. Whoop. So as I read these lines and the images they create, I can feel myself getting tense, and I did. I don't know about you, just like Revere, watching and waiting for something to happen. In this stanza, the mood is tense. So it helps me to understand the tension during this time and the situation that he was in. He's waiting. It's like, this is a big deal. The British are coming. So this is a big deal. All right. Your turn. What is the mood and tone of the last stanza? Okay, remember, the last stanza is like the last paragraph. So as you read and listen to the last stanza of the poem, I want you to annotate words and images that convey mood and tone. Highlight those, circle those, underline them. Think about how the imagery of the poem make you feel and what it reveals about Longfellow's attitude toward Revere and his mission. Okay, so pause here and go ahead and do that. Read it, listen to it, and then let's figure out the mood and tone of the last stanza. All righty. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed and the midnight message of Paul Revere. The tone of this stanza is admiration. It shows that Longfellow admires what Paul Revere did. The images of a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, create a mood of excitement and respect. Revere's ride helped many, and he will be remembered through this throughout history. So how did you do? Are you a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? I can analyze how an author's imagery contributes to the mood and tone of a poem, and I can recognize characteristics of multimodal and digital texts. What are you? Write it down. 4, you've got it. 3, I can do it on my own. 2, I can do it with help. Or 1, I'm still confused. And I will see you again later.